High Command, this is Agent 8147, Authentication Cockatrice Burning. I have discovered a rising threat to the Empire and must report my findings. I am unable to exfil without giving away my presence and require immediate extraction support from the Astartes.
Due to a recent and urgent communication by one of their agents, the Inquisitors have contacted a contingent of Salamanders in the nearby sector. They have been dispatched to locate and extract the Caldus assassin as quickly as possible. They are running the Firestorm detachment and are led by a lieutenant leading a squad of BLadeguard Veterans. They have a Techmarine, a Lancer, an Intercessor Squad, an Inceptor Squad, a squad of Infiltrators, a Repulsor, and a squad of Scouts. Lurking within the shadows of Kernus 4, the GeneStealers begin to sow the threads of discontent. The Prometheum refinery workers are at wit's end, a social powder keg if you will. The Patriarch is looking to light the spark that will ignite the revolution and seize control over the false gods. Drew is playing GeneStealers today in the Biosanctic Brood Surge detachment. He is bringing one Sanctus, one Patriarch leading a 10-man squad of Purestrain Genestealers, a RidgeRunner, 2 Abominants, each leading 5-man squads of Aberrants, a squad of Neophyte Hybrids, and a 5-man squad of Acolyte Hybrids. Thanks to your help, we've recently reached 1,000 subscribers, so as a celebration and thank you, we are running our first 3-part narrative, where the results of one mission will affect the next. We hope you enjoy this different take on what we do here on the channel, and if you'd like to continue supporting us, consider becoming a channel member where you get to see our battle reports a day before everyone else and will have your name added to the show. Primary for the battle will be hearts and minds. Each army can have a unit that is wholly within a building perform an action for the round. The unit will then speak and or interrogate the locals to keep them loyal or swing them over to the rebellion. This action will complete at the end of the opponent's turn, and the players will score 1 point for buildings in their own deployment zone, 3 points for buildings in no man's land, and 5 points for buildings in the enemy deployment zone. Each player will also have a secret mission to accomplish, and if completed, it will have effects in the subsequent battle. Salamanders are tasked with extracting the Caldus assassin. A random GSC character unit was selected before the game. If they take down that specific unit, they have rescued the Caldus assassin that was hiding in their ranks and will score 7 points. GeneStealers are hoping to cut communications out of the planet and broadcast their own message to inspire rebellion, and in order to do this, they must seize control of the communications tower by having a unit wholly within for an entire turn cycle, thus scoring them 7 points. Will the Imperium receive critical intel regarding the potential uprising, or will the GeneStealers succeed in prepping the planet for the incoming Hive fleet? Let's get ready to battle. Top of round 1, and the Salamanders are going first. They're going to start off by having the Techmarine bless the Lancer, giving it +1 to hit. Nearby squad of Aberrants are going to be the Oath of Moment. Start of the movement phase, the BLadeguard Vets are going to disembark from the Repulsor and move into the nearby building to begin to interrogate the locals. Repulsor will then reposition to get line of sight on the Aberrants. Start of the shooting phase, and the Repulsor will fire the Hunter Slayer indirectly at the RidgeRunner, taking it down to 5 wounds remaining. The rest of its shots will go into the Aberrant squad, managing to pick up 1 and leave another at just 1 wound remaining. Quick turn for the Salamanders. As they sense something suspicious going on here, they will proceed to interrogate the nearby locals, winning hearts and minds. Bottom of round 1 for the GeneStealers, they go straight into the movement phase, and the Aberrants will move wholly within the nearby building. Slight reposition from the Sanctus on the 2nd floor as it begins to convince the dwellers of the home to revolt against the oppressors. Wondering why I got hit with a random missile, the RidgeRunner will move into the building and begin to perform the Hearts and Minds action. All rebellions start small, and that's going to end a quick turn for the GeneStealers as they perform the action inside of 6 buildings. At the end of the turn, Salamanders will successfully confirm citizens are loyal to the Imperium, scoring 4 points for 4 buildings in their deployment zone, and 3 points for 1 building in no man's land. They can only successfully action a building once per game. Top of round 2 for the Salamanders. They are here to support the people of Cernus 4, and you can support them by pressing that like and subscribe button, letting us know you want to see more content like this. In the command phase, Techmarine will buff the Lancer, giving it +1 to hit. Oath of Moment will again be the wounded squad of Aberrants. Start of the movement phase, Scout Squad is going to advance back, hoping to screen out the backfield. Infiltrators are going to reposition to spread the 12-inch bubble. Lieutenant and company are going to hop back in the Repulsor. Lancer will move forward to increase its fields of fire. Techmarine will position itself in between the 2 vehicles. After witnessing the Aberrants run into a building, the Repulsor will chase after them into no man's land. Intercessors do not have enough movement to get in the building and will stay behind it. Inceptors arrive at a deep strike 10 inches away from the Sanctus with line of sight. GeneStealers are going to spend a command point on rapid ingress, and out from the sewers comes the Purestrains. Start of the shooting phase, and in a complete disregard for the inhabitants of the building, the Inceptors will fire into the Sanctus and absolutely tear it to bits. And the Caldas assassin was not hiding in that one-man squad. Scouts will fire into the Patriarch and company and score a single wound. Scouts radio in the threat to the Repulsor and it will fire into them, failing to score a wound. That is going to end the turn for the Salamanders with no actions ongoing. GeneStealers will score 4 points for their own deployment zone and 3 points for inspiring rebellion in no man's land. Bottom of round 2 for the GeneStealers, and in the command phase, the Acolytes are going to attempt to farm a command point but fail. Start of the movement phase, the Purestrain don't appreciate being shot at and will move in on the Scouts. Witnessing one of their leaders fall to a hail of bullets, the Aberrants were going to pop out towards the Inceptors. Salamanders are going to spend a command point to fire Overwatch with the Inceptors. They manage to pick up 1 and wound a second. Second squad of Aberrants hear the Repulsor turn the corner in the neighborhood and burst through the walls, moving in on it. Neophytes will jump from one building to the other and pick up where the Sanctus left off. Neophytes roll a 5 on the advance and will also sprint from one building to the next, staying within cover. RidgeRunner witnesses his brethren rushing forward and will follow suit, getting eyes on the Repulsor. Start of the shooting phase, RidgeRunner is going to fire into the Repulsor. In response, Salamanders are going to burn a command point to pop smoke, and it pays off as the RidgeRunner fails to score a hit. Salamanders are going to spend a command point on burning Vengeance, and the BLadeguard Veterans are going to disembark in front of the Repulsor. It's charge o'clock, and the Purestrains will easily surround the Scouts that were attempting to secure the communications tower. Aberrants are going to need a 10 on the dice to make it into the Repulsor. They pop Stimulated Biosurge for a +3, and they're in. Aberrants will make the charge into the Inceptors. Start of the fight phase, BLadeguard Veterans are going to hold up their shields like a phalanx and have reroll 1s on their invul saves. GeneStealers are going to try to rip open the Repulsor like a tuna can and will spend a CP on Gene Twisted Muscle, giving them a +1 to wound. Salamanders are going to burn their final CP for Armor of Contempt on the Repulsor, hoping to keep it alive. Abominant rolls poorly on the damage roll, and the Repulsor lives at just 5 wounds remaining. Second squad of Aberrants lay into the Inceptors, picking 2 of them up and leaving another at just a single wound. Purestrain swing into the Scouts, and there's nothing left but a pile of biomass. They will consolidate into the communications tower and begin to take it over. Time for ongoing combat, and the BLadeguard Veterans will swing everything into the Aberrants. They are the Oath of Moment. They manage to pick up the entire squad as well as taking down the Abominant. The Abominant does succeed in getting back up at the end of the phase. No Caldas to be found in the squad, but GeneStealers will spend their ambush points to place the Aberrant squad into reserves. The ambush token will be positioned in the building out of charge range. Inceptor will clap back but fails to score a wound. The Abominant isn't down yet, and it stands back up at the end of the phase. The Acolytes are going to begin to action in the building, and that will end the turn for the GeneStealers. Top of round 3 for the Salamanders, no actions completed, so we go into the command phase, and the Techmarine will heal the Repulsor as well as giving it +1 to hit. Scouts are no longer responding to their radio calls, and at the moment will be the Purestrains. Lone Inceptor that is surrounded by mutants freaks out and is now battle shocked. Start of the movement phase, the Inceptors will push into the nearby building and begin to confirm the loyalty of the refinery workers inside. Lieutenant and company will load back up into the Repulsor. It will then back up to get line of sight on the communications tower. Lone Inceptor will fall back into the building and succeeds its desperate escape. Infiltrators will come out from the building and into the street to get line of sight on the Purestrain. At the end of the movement phase, another squad of Aberrants will pop out of the sewers and into the nearby building. Start of the shooting phase, and the Techmarine will fire into the Abominant, knocking off 2 wounds. Lancer is up next and fires everything minus the big gun into the Abominant, and it survives at just a single one with the sweet feel no pains. Big gun into the GeneStealers, but no joy. Infiltrators into the Patriarch and company, and they pick up 2 of them. Repulsor sends everything into the GeneStealers as well, managing to pick up 2 of them and wounding a 3rd. On to the charge phase, and the Techmarine will make it into the Abominant. That's going to be it for charges, so the Techmarine will swing into the Abominant, finally taking it down. GeneStealers are going to spend a command point to have it deadly demise on a 2+, and the damage is now a 2d3. It will deal 4 to the Repulsor and 6 to the Techmarine, taking it down with it. That is going to end the turn for the Salamanders. They have 1 action ongoing and still have not found the Caldas assassin. Bottom of round 3 for the GeneStealers, and they will complete 1 action in no man's land for 3 points. Start of the movement phase, the Patriarch and company are going to move wholly within the communications tower, barring themselves in, and begin to broadcast the signal for rebellion. Salamanders will fire Overwatch for a command point and manage to pick up 5 of the Purestrains. RidgeRunner isn't done with the Repulsor yet and will beat feet across the corner to get line of sight on it again. Neophytes will step out into the open to get line of sight on the Repulsor. Aberrants are going to advance towards the center of the field. Second squad of Aberrants will chase down the Inceptor. Start of the shooting phase, the Repulsor will eye the RidgeRunner peeking around the corner and will pop smoke in response. RidgeRunner is still pissed off about the missile turn 1, and the mining laser will take down the Repulsor. BLadeguard Veterans will disembark out of line of sight from the Neophytes and take a single wound on the way out. Neophytes will peek around the corner and fire their grenade launchers into the Lancer, managing to knock off 3 wounds. Time for charges, and the Aberrants will surround the Inceptor that almost got away. Aberrant squad is going to swing into the Inceptor, and yeah, well, those stains aren't coming out anytime soon. Patriarch and company are going to barricade themselves inside the communications center and begin the broadcast to the masses. And that's going to end the turn for the GeneStealers. Top of round 4 for the Salamanders, no actions completed, so they will oath the moment the squad of Aberrants. Infiltrators will reposition to get line of sight on the Neophytes. Lancer is going to advance and move to the other side of the building. BLadeguard Veterans are looking to get into some fisticuffs and move towards the Aberrants. Inceptors are going to fall back out of the building and away from the Aberrants, but have line of sight on the Neophytes. Start of the shooting phase, Inceptors will fire into the Neophytes. GeneStealers are going to burn a command point to go to ground, and they lose 2 models. Lancer is going to split fire, sending the destroyer cannon into the RidgeRunner, and it survives at a single wound. The remaining weapon systems go into the Neophytes, and it takes down 5 of them. Infiltrators take their crack at the Neophytes and manage to pick up the remainder of the squad. It's charge o'clock, and the BLadeguard Veterans need a 7 to make it into the Aberrants, and they are in with an 8. BLadeguard Veterans are going to hack and slash into the Aberrant squad, managing to take down the entire thing, but the Abominant and 1 Aberrant do fight on death. Crackback wasn't nearly as punishing, only picking up a single BLadeguard vet. GSC burned a command point to boost the deadly demise of the Abominant, dealing 4 mortals, taking down another BLadeguard vet. At the end of the fight phase, Abominant proves 'tis but a flesh wound and stands back up. Unfortunately, that was not the squad the Caldas was hiding in, and that's going to end the turn for the Salamanders. Bottom of round 4 for the GeneStealers. They have successfully completed the action in the enemy deployment zone, scoring them 5 points. And they've also held on to the communication center for an entire round, scoring them their secret mission for another 7 points. With their mission complete, the Purestrain will burst out of the building to assist the fellow Abominant. Speaking of which, the Abominant will move out of the way to give the Patriarch a straight line charge. Acolytes are going to come out from the building and also converge on the BLadeguard Veterans. Remaining squad of Aberrants didn't see the Intercessors escape out the back door and charge the building. RidgeRunner barely sputters forward to get better line of sight on the Repulsor. RidgeRunner driver wants revenge before it has to bite the bullet and fires into the Repulsor, leaving it at just 3 wounds remaining. Start of the charge phase, the Aberrants are going to dual charge the Lancer and the Intercessors. GeneStealers are going to burn a command point on Stimulated Biosurge, giving them a bonus to their charge. They need a 10, but roll a 6. Command reroll, and they're in with the 10. Patriarch, Purestrain, and the Abominant all make it back into the BLadeguard Veterans. GeneStealers remember the Acolytes should have farmed a command point, and they do with a 4. Start of the fight phase, Patriarch and company are going to swing into the BLadeguard Vets and manage to take down 3 of them. Abominant is up next and picks up 1 more. Aberrants are going to split their attacks, sending 2 into the Intercessors, picking up 1 of them, and the rest of the attacks into the Lancer, and it proves to be enough to take it down. It does not explode. Time for ongoing combat. Intercessors swing into the Aberrants, scoring a single wound. Remaining BLadeguard Vets and the Lieutenant are going to send everything into the Purestrands, burning a command point for Crucible of Battle. They manage to pick up all the Purestrands and leave the Patriarch alive at just 2 wounds remaining. That's going to end a pretty strong turn for the GeneStealers. Let's see if the Salamanders still have it to finish strong. That's going to end a strong turn for the GeneStealers. Let's see if the Salamanders are still able to finish strong. Top of round 5 for the Salamanders, they have their eye on the prize and go straight into the movement with the BLadeguard Veterans falling back. Intercessors are going to follow suit and also fall back. Aberrant Squad is going to be the Oath of Moment. Start of the shooting phase, and the Infiltrators will fire into the Aberrants. GeneStealers will burn a command point for Biohorror Revelation, but they succeed their Battle Shock test. Unfortunately, these mutants are tough and they only suffer a single wound. Charge the clock, and the Lieutenant allows the squad to fall back and charge, so they will charge the Patriarch. Therein, Patriarch will use its ability to force a leadership check, but they succeed. Command point on Crucible Battle, and they swing into the Patriarch, taking it down. Unfortunately, it also was carrying its bomber vest, so for 1 CP, it's going to get a 2d3 Deadly Demise, which is going to deal 6 mortals, taking out the 2 remaining Space Marines. Oof. After the dust from the explosion settles, one of the Purestrain bodies will morph, revealing the Calidus Assassin. Witnessing the absolute massacre that just took place, she will use it as the perfect cover to exfil on her own. This will just barely score the Salamanders their secret mission for a solid 7 points. And with completing their mission just in the nick of time, that is going to end the turn for the Salamanders. Bottom of round 5 for the GeneStealers, they're going to go straight into the movement phase, and the Acolytes are going to move entirely into the building to swing back the residents to the Revolution. Squad of Aberrants are going to absolutely terrify the residents of the second building, and then afterwards convince them to turn against the Imperium. That is going to end the turn, scoring the GeneStealers 6 points for completing actions on 2 objectives in No Man's Land. That is going to end the game, making the final score with paint 24-38 in favor of the GeneStealer cult. They suffered a hefty price, but the Salamanders did complete their mission and recover the Calidus Assassin. But with the GeneStealers successfully sparking the start of the rebellion, will her intel be enough to subdue the threat? Or will another precious refinery planet fall into darkness? Thank you, Steve and Drew, for coming out and celebrating this milestone with us, and thank you so much for supporting and taking the time to watch the show. We couldn't have made 1,000 subscribers without you, so again, thank you. We really hope you enjoyed this battle report, and if you'd like to see more of them, remember to show your support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That will do it for today, but as always, until next time, my fellow knights, happy gaming.